Today I'm going to be making a pork Corella style dish. This is one of my recipes which has been inspired from other pork dishes that I have had in Corella. I'm Russell Phipps and this is my channel, Manna with Spice. This is actually a fairly simple dish to make. There are a few spices and things which you need to mix the pork in and marinade. Let's get on with the cooking. I have here a piece of pork shoulder. I'm now going to have to cut this into cubes. Now in India, traditionally you'd leave the skin on, but because I'm making this for my church family, I will be removing the skin. I will be leaving the fat on. So first of all, I'm just going to remove the excess skin and fat from this piece here. Don't worry, I will be using the skin for crackling. Set that to the side. I know this is a bit fatty. I'm going to use it because it will render down. You want to cut this into decent bite-sized pieces, probably about 1.5 centimetres. And I'm going to do this for all of the meat. I'll just take this bit of sinew off, as that will be quite hard. Now this particular dish, I will be slow cooking. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. I'm now going to thoroughly wash this, pat it dry, and once I've done that, I will come back and we'll make the marinade. For the marinade, you are going to require the following ingredients. I'm actually going to give you the quantities as if it was 1 kilogram. I have weighed the pork and I've got, give or take, 1.9 kilograms. So I'm just going to double what I'm actually going to say. 1 to 2 tablespoons of coconut oil, 1 tablespoon of coriander seed, 1 teaspoon of black peppercorns, 1 teaspoon of Garam Masala, 1 tablespoon of Kashmiri chili powder, 1 teaspoon of turmeric, 2 tablespoons of vinegar, a teaspoon of salt, a tablespoon of garlic paste, about 1.5 teaspoons of ginger paste. I'm now just going to grind the spices all together, add that to the bowl, 1 sprig of curry leaves. The amount of chilies you put in is really down to your choice. I would suggest somewhere in the region of about 2 to 3. Finally, chop these. Put that into the bowl, thoroughly mix, add the pork. I'm going to leave this for about half an hour because I'm going to be cooking it. If, however, you're not going to be cooking it straight away, you can leave it for up to 12 hours in the fridge. Take it out at least half an hour to an hour before you're going to cook it to allow the meat to come up to room temperature. Not only does this actually quicken the cooking process, it allows the meat to absorb more of the flavours. Additional ingredients you're going to require for this dish: 2 tablespoons of coconut oil, 2 large or 3 medium onions, half of them finely chopped, the other half coarsely chopped. I'll put a link again up here and in the description on how I make ginger garlic paste. There are a number of ways of doing it, and there's one very, very interesting way, which you're going to have to watch the video to find out. I have had someone say to me, why are you making a vindaloo? Well, this isn't a vindaloo, but is it better than a vindaloo? Let me know what you think. Let's get on with the cooking. I'm going to let this heat up. As you can see, it is now beginning to sweat, and that's the oils and stuff which is in the clay coming through. About 2 tablespoons of oil. Now remember, I'm actually using double the quantities in this dish. Now that this is heated up, I'm actually going to test it by putting a small amount of black mustard seed in. They're now beginning to splutter, so I'm now going to put in a teaspoon of mustard seed. Now you want them to start spluttering for about 30 seconds before you put in the curry leaves. They're now starting to splutter, so I'm going to put in the curry leaves, and you want to make sure that you have a lid available, because when you put these in, they do spit a lot. 2 finely chopped white onions, You want to cook these for about 5 minutes covered before you add the red onion. Sorry about that. Unfortunately, my other camera didn't record. The only part you've missed is the red onion and the black crushed pepper going in. I'm using Himalayan salt. You can use any salt you prefer. I'll let it sweat for another 5 minutes before adding the marinated meat. I did say that I'd leave the meat for about half an hour and then cook it. Unfortunately, I got called away on an emergency on my professional job, as this is a hobby. So this has actually been in the fridge for nearly 12 hours. I did take it out to bring it up to room temperature. Be interesting to find out what it tastes like. The 5 minutes are up. The white onion has broken down nicely. The red onion is just starting to break down, so it's time to add the meat. This is smelling gorgeous before I've even actually started cooking it. I'm now just going to colour the meat, and once that's coloured I will reduce it right down to low and we will just cook the meat, stirring occasionally. I'm going to add some water to the marinated dish that the meat was in to get all those flavours and add that to the pot. That is nicely coloured now. I'm just going to add the juices, or shall we say what is left in the dish that it was marinated in. I'm going to reduce it right down, cover it, and we're going to cook it on low, probably for about 2 hours. This has now been cooking for 2 hours and it's just about ready. So I'm going to test that the meat is cooked by trying to cut it with a spatula. This is now ready to serve.